can see it's really delicate. This may be the only time we ever open this up.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here in the archives at the Oregon California Trails Association. I am going to just give Travis some artifacts and see what he knows about it. So what do we have up first?
One of the things that we've got in our collection was donated to OCTA back in 1992, and it's actually 3 pieces. This is the smallest piece. This is a Tyre Bender. This was invented in the United States in the mid-19th century. It quickly caught on around the world. And the way it works, for like a small buggy, a thin piece of metal rim that would go around your wooden tire, you could actually put it through here cold and it would bend it. However, if you had a thicker piece, you would need to heat that and then put it through, and then you put it on an anvil and you can weld it together.
So yes, how do you make something flat into round? Well, you put it through an English wheel. You put it through a wheel. So we have, and this is all, is this cast iron or is this all steel? I don't have gloves on, I don't want to touch it.
I think it's all cast iron. The reason I'm wearing the gloves and I don't want to touch it is because your oils from your skin can get into it. I understand that this was used for that purpose, you know, almost 200 years ago, but we want to preserve this long term. It's the same thing when I'm handling paper that's old, or some of the other artifacts that we're going to show you that are more made out of fabrics.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some artifacts you need gloves, some you don't.
I probably
some you don't want to look at. Yeah,
but it does fingerprint, and that's why I put gloves on. This is just back here locked away in our archive. It occasionally goes on exhibit in the National Frontier Trails Museum, which is up on the square here in Independence, but this is just one of the many, many gems hidden in our archive. The third piece, which is way too big for me to carry, and I didn't have a way to get it out here.
So this is the other piece of the Tyre Bender.
Yes.
And that part would have latched on to there.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so it's just a gear reduction. Oh.
That's how it works. You would have a bar actually to crank it here. The next thing I'm going to pull out, these are shoes that would have been worn by a 2-year-old. They were manufactured in Buckner, Missouri. Buckner, Missouri is about 10 or so miles east of Independence. The description that comes with it claims that there's actually a note here in the box, and I can just read it. You can see it's in pretty bad shape, but it says, Rena Pryson Bott's first shoes when she was 2 years old. Got the shoes from her papa's store in Buckner, Missouri. These really held up well. You'll see on the bottom the accession number. It's what a curator puts on it to give it its number in the collection. You kind of put it in an unobtrusive place because when they're on exhibit, they'd most likely be sitting like this. But it also helps in case of theft.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody were to try to take this and sell it in an auction or something like that, it's now forever marked with our accession number.
So these are child shoes. What would have been worn on the trail or in town?
Both. I mean, you're heading west, you're walking, shoes wore out. A 2-year-old's probably not walking a whole lot of that, but no idea if this little girl ever actually went west, but I do know that people would come through Buckner on their way to Independence. This is a kind of an item that they might procure. It's from the time period, Independence being the trailhead. Everybody seemed to be related to the trail somehow, whether they were going west or whether they were supplying immigrants heading west with materials. These are the types of things you would have seen in a local store. Moving on. These are really neat. These are the Stansbury reports to Congress. So Stansbury was commissioned by Congress to explore the Great Salt Lake in 1849 and 1850. And these are his reports to Congress. The larger of the 2 books here is the report to the House of Representatives. And the Senate got the smaller version, but it also got all the cool maps. These come from a donor named David Hopper. He donated these items to OCTA last August of 2024. Mr. Hopper lives in San Diego. He gave to us 4,000 original diaries, as well as his personal book collection, which contained a lot of really rare books, hard to find books, expensive books. These are kind of in that latter 3 categories altogether. You know, the House report is largely verbiage. The Senate report is largely maps. I will attempt to pull out one of these maps. It's pretty fragile.
I might need to take the camera off the tripod for this one.
This is illustrative of what Congress would have been receiving after a Fremont expedition, after a Stansbury expedition, one of these congressionally funded expeditions to the American West.
And that's what they were being paid to do, was to go out there and map this stuff?
Yes.
That's part of what they were doing.
So you can see Salt Lake City already exists, obviously. It was founded around 1847, but this shows his mapping expedition and how they went out and mapped the area around the Great Salt Lake. We do have a framed copy that if somebody wanted to examine this in person, they could come and do so. This copy will likely just remain in the archive, safely tucked away, so that we know an original copy of it exists somewhere. These next items are really neat. These are called the Chiles Dolls. They were donated in 1998. And for those of you who really know the California Trail well, you've heard of the Chiles Cutoff. Well, these were dolls from the Chiles family. You can see they're pretty delicate. I'm not going to handle them. We've got them boxed away safely here, but you can see they come with dresses. They have porcelain heads. Just a beautiful, beautiful example of what a child might have with her on the trail. There's a very famous story of Virginia Reed's doll with the Donner Party surviving, and it's on exhibit. I know the American Doll Society, I believe that's what they called, made a replica of that last year that they gave away at their convention. So children's dolls were a very popular item on the trail.
And these are porcelain, they would have?
Yes, the heads are porcelain and the rest are just different fabrics from the day.
Yeah, they would stuff. I mean, is this an extra wig or is this from a different?
These are skins.
Oh.
I'm not sure which animals. It looks like beaver. I'm not sure what this one is, but yeah, these are just tossed in with it with no explanation. There is a curator's number and an accession code. We'd have to get into our software and look that up to see exactly what it is. But I mostly just wanted to show everyone the dolls. Don't need to have gloves to handle these, but one of the other things that Octa has is a bookstore, both in person. You can come here to our offices, you can go to the Frontier Trails Museum up on the square, or you can order these books online. One of our really cool books I really like that I often have on the trail with me is Graves and Sites on the Oregon and California Trail. You can procure this on our website, and what it does, all the graves that are identified and interpreted by Octa and protected by Octa are described in here, including driving directions to get to them. So if you wanted to take, for an example, an Oregon Trail vacation, you could use this as one of your guidebooks. A companion piece also written by Randy Brown, an Octa member from Wyoming, is Historic Inscriptions on Western Immigrant Trails, which we also have in hardback, unlike Graves and Sites. But again, this is a book about all the inscriptions in rock. There's some photographs in here that show the inscriptions in rock. They might be carved in rock, they might be done with tire grease or axle grease. Again, this will show you how to get to each of these sites, and it covers pretty much the entire American West. These are available on our website at octa-trails.org. Be sure to check out our website. We have a whole assortment of books, maps, and other things that any trail aficionado might like to buy.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. And let us know in the comments below if you would like to see one of us possibly do a motorcycle tour along these sections of the trails that we've already documented. But
And in one of us, he means Chip. I don't ride motorcycles anymore. I've gotten a little old for that.
I like building them. Anyways, all right.